Hello and welcome to Dragon Budget. Today we're going to be doing a deck profile for Mono Green Ginyu. Now this is a very cool leader from set 10 that allows us to spam out a bunch of Ginyu Force on our board and is very affordable, so let's get into it. First of all, we have the leader on his front side. What Ginyu basically does is every time he swings, he allows us to reveal the top card of our deck, and if that card is a 2-drop Ginyu Force card, we get to play it and draw. So essentially what we're going to be doing with this leader is we're just going to be revealing the top card of our deck, hoping it's a Ginyu. We're going to be stacking the top of our deck so that we can spam out as many Ginyus as possible. He awakens at 4 life, or when you have 4 Ginyu Force in play, which is very easy, as we're going to see, and he can awakens. He is at 15k on the awaken side. He has the same effect in terms of revealing off the top on that side, and then he also has the ability to pump our Ginyus for 1 energy of return. So this is an aggro deck, and we're going to get into it. So first of all, let's start with our Ginyus. Ginyu Force, that is. We've got Guldo. Guldo, we're going to play off the top of our deck most of the time, and he allows us to really rearrange the top of our deck so that we're able to always get a Ginyu there that we can reveal. Guldo is very important to keep in play, and your opponent's going to be gunning for this. He also has another ability where you can discard him and rearrange if you don't have another rearrange ability in play, so that can be useful. Next, we have Rikum. Rikum is pretty simple. He just allows you to play another 2-drop Ginyu when you play him. So you're going to play him up, and it works when you play him from any other way. So you can play him off the top with your leader ability, get another Ginyu. Really good stuff. Then we've got Jace. Jace allows us to, when he attacks, he looks at top 3 cards of your deck, lets you take a Ginyu Force into your hand, and then rearrange top or bottom however you want. So this lets you kind of get some more hand advantage into your hand, as well as set up for your leader's ability. Next, you have Birder. Birder is a really cool card. So what he does is at the end, he has blocker, and at the end of the turn, he can restand himself to active mode, and you can rearrange the top 3 cards of your deck from top or bottom. So it's just another good way to rearrange your draws, get a blocker, make sure he can't be knocked out. And, that's the last of the main Ginyu Force. One thing to note about all of the Ginyu Force is that all of the main team is unique, so you can only have one of them in play at a time. It's an important thing to remember. Now we run some 2-drop Ginyu Force that are not unique, that kind of allow us to have some more consistency. First, we have Ginyu Force, the Showstoppers. This is really cool because it counts as all 4 Ginyu Force members, which means that if you're missing a member, this can kind of fill in for some effects we're going to see later. It also has a really cool effect where when it damages your opponent or a unison, you're able to search for a 2-drop Ginyu Force in your deck and play it other than this card. So you can kind of play this out, attack, and kind of get another Ginyu Force from your deck in play. So you can really spam out Ginyus with this. Next, we got this Ginyu, Frieza's Greatest Soldier. This is from the starter deck from set 10, the Frieza starter deck. It's a pretty cheap card. I just play this as another Ginyu in the deck, a 2-drop Ginyu Force that we can kind of play with our effects and, kind of reveal. Really the goal of this deck, where it's going to fail or succeed, is by always hitting your leader ability. If you hit your leader ability every turn of the game, you're going to be aggroing your opponent pretty hard. So this is just to help with that consistency. And when it comes into play, it can buff our leader or unison by 10k, so it's just some extra pressure. To go with our 2-drop Ginyu Force cards, we've got Ginyu Helix Strike. It's a 4-drop yellow card, but we're never going to actually play this that way. We're going to use his Activate main effect. His Activate main effect lets us pay 1 and discard him to look at the top 3 cards of our deck, get a Ginyu Force into our hand, and if we do, we can play a 2-drop Ginyu from our hand into play. So you can use this on turn 1 or later to search the top of your deck and kind of play one of these many cards that we've looked at before, these 2-drop Ginyu Force. So it's just a really good card for consistency, and it's a great turn 1 play. I actually considered upping this to 4. Next, we've got our payoffs for the Ginyu Force. First, we've got Ginyu, Backbone of the Force. He basically plays for free if you have all 4 Ginyu Force members in play: Rikum, Jace, Guldo, and Birder. And the important thing to remember is that the Showstoppers, this card, can fill in for whichever one you're missing. So this is a really great card to kind of make sure this always goes off. What it does when it comes into play is it lets you steal one of your opponent's battle cards and give them Ginyus, the body swap. Can't go through barrier, but you can get a lot of good things with this from your opponent to attack through. But as you're going to see in a second, even if you're getting something little, this is still worth using. So it's a really good finisher. The reason why it's a good finisher is because of this card, Ginyu the Body Snatcher, 3 of. Ginyu the Body Snatcher basically lets us discard a card we have in play that originally belonged to our opponent. So basically a card you're going to steal with Ginyu Backbone of the Force. That kind of makes it worthwhile to steal something, whether it's good or not. If it's good, it's just a plus. So basically you can discard that and play this. It's a 20k double strike. And the turn that you play it, all of your Ginyu Force cards get 10k power. So if you have 4 Ginyu Force in play, you play the Backbone, you steal one of their cards, even if it's little, it doesn't really matter. You attack with it, then you discard it off with this Ginyu, play it, you have 20k double strike, and you've got 4 25k beaters in terms of your Ginyu Force. So you could even have more. So this is just insanely good pressure if you can get this on early in the game. That's kind of our main Ginyu core. Now we're just going to go over some, decent aggro options for green. We've got our super combo, Vegeta the Lone Prince. I like this as a good cheap option. You can play it out for 1 mana, which is good, and just discard a card from your opponent's hand. And then it's just a normal 4 or less life draw a card super combo. So it's good. But the other good thing to note is you can still combo with it, even when you're not at 4 or less life. So that's pretty important for an aggro deck. So I just like this to get my opponent's hand low. Next, we got Doria the Cold-Blooded. Pretty simple. 1 drop, take a life from yourself, self-awaken, double striker. This is good to get 1 mana in and kind of take 2 life from your opponent or take out a Unison. It's just a really efficient card. We've got probably the best budget green Unison in the game, which is Demigrau Unison of Sorcery. It's just a really efficient card. We're not really running any Unison cooperative cards in this deck, but this really is just a 1 mana card that comes down. It's really hard for your opponent to kill because you can just take your own life instead of losing markers, and gives me 15k every turn, and then can even remove some stuff a little bit later on. So it's just a really efficient, good card for an aggro deck, I think, especially in green. Then we've got everyone's favorite 2 Champas. We're just going to use this to, pump 10k, get double strike, kill our opponent quickly. We're playing an aggro deck, so we definitely want those. Overwhelming choice in this deck is I'm going with Super Saiyan Son Goku, Man on a Mission. I think this is a pretty cheap replacement for the Bardock that a lot of people are running. It's a really good card. Overwhelm 6, we can get that pretty easily. We're probably only going to play 1 of these in a game, but I like to run 2 just to make sure I hit it. And it's, you get that double strike crit in, can really help in the game and keep your opponent low on resources. And lastly, we got just 2 Shocking Death Ball. Just the negate. You don't really need negates in this deck. I mean, if you haven't killed your opponent by turn 3 or 4, you probably lost the game. But this can just be a good option to kind of stop one of your opponent's mid-game attacks. And you can play it for free once you have 5 cards in your life by taking a life, which you don't really mind doing in aggro. So I think it's pretty good. So you run that. Overall, this is a pretty efficiently costed deck. The price of this deck on TCG Player at the time of making this video was $19.05. So it's extremely cheap aggro strategy that I think you can get into really quickly. If you just want to kind of get into the game and kind of play it out. I find often that in this game, aggro is a very good play style to get into if you're new. So this is a deck I would definitely recommend, and there'll be more deck profiles to come. Thank you.